Douglas, capital of the Isle of Man, a holiday resort, and famous as the centre of those TT races we hear so much about. But it's also the centre of another event, now firmly established, the Isle of Man Motor Scooter Rally, which provides a full week of social and competitive events, in fact the scooterist week of the year.
A lot of people still remember it, and a lot of the competitors are still around. There was a serious racing element, but most of these guys were just normal scooterists using the bikes they went to work on. There's such a big interest in scootering and scooter racing at the moment that there'll be a very wide appeal. The Isle of Man is of course known as the road racing capital of the world, and I thought that an event that attracted up to 500 competitors in its peak years and thousands of spectators demanded more attention, especially for the fact that it ran over a 20-year period. There's lots of magazine articles and bits and pieces on the internet, but never before has it all been put in one place, so it's an opportunity to see images for the first time that haven't been seen since the 1950s when they appeared in the press, and to get a taste for what it was like to be involved in a week-long motoring event on the Isle of Man.
Scooterists have been coming to the Isle of Man since June 1958. Why do they come here? What's so special about this rally? Firstly, this is the right sort of place to run a scooter rally. Miles of traffic-free roads, a bracing climate, and the friendliest people you could imagine, with a welcome ready the moment you land. And once ashore, the first port of call is rally headquarters to register your arrival.
I grew up being taken to the TT course from a very young age, in the early 70s, and I was aware of all the motorcycling racing that goes on the Isle of Man. Had no idea about the scooter race. In the 1980s I bought my first Lambretta Li 150 at the age of 16, or just coming up to 17, and my father wouldn't let me ride it until I passed my car test because he believed that I should get experience of the road first. So while he was at work I used to rush home at lunchtime and ride it round the lanes and put it back again before he came home, and I passed my bike test when I was 17. So I've been riding two wheels ever since, basically. I've also had motorbikes, but recently went back to my first passion and bought a new Vespa. Isle of Man Scooter Club, that used to organise the rally in conjunction with the Tourist Board, was formed in 1957 and it's still running, and I'm now a member of that club. So the biannual rally, as it's now known, it's taking place in 2014. Although it's only a social event now, it is growing in popularity and attracting large numbers of people back over to the island, which is a good thing. But I don't think we'll have the competitive events we had in the past.
Sunday morning sees the start of the first of the major events, the Manx 400, previously a night event, now being run for the first time in daylight. It's new, there's an air of suspense. Some are wondering whether it will work out. Will there be traffic or refuelling problems? After machine scrutineering, there's often a few last-minute adjustments. It's not surprising that this event attracts the biggest entry of all, especially from newcomers. As machines are lined up on the promenade waiting to come under starters' orders, riders are getting watches sealed. Number 62 is about to leave, a D Lambretta with Clive Weavers aboard. R. Winkley follows on his Vespa, and on another Vespa, John Alexander, overall champion of the 1962 rally. Here's newcomer Terry Coleman, off on his first Manx 400. After leaving the promenade, riders quickly join the TT course for the first lap. There are 4 machine classes, covering 9 to 12 laps, over a period of 12. There are 6 time checks on the course, but this is basically a regularity test. Part of the course climbs over 1,000 feet as it crosses the mountain. At night this section often meant mist and fog. Today it couldn't be better.
As I mentioned, it's the road racing capital of the world, so there's a lot of sporting culture with the Isle of Man, from the TT races going back to 1907. And even today we still have not only the TT but the Manx Grand Prix, a lot of rally racing. The Isle of Man is also a very interesting place. It has its own language that's currently being revived. We now have a Gaelic medium school, or Gaelg as the language is known. It's a variant of Irish and Scottish Gaelic. And also it's got the longest running parliament in the world. It's been running continuously since 979 AD when they were invaded by the Vikings. So there's lots of different strands of Manx culture, but from a scootering point of view, I would think it's sport and tradition that this work is sort of closely aligned with. People came from all over the world to compete. There were people from behind the Iron Curtain, before when Communist Europe was still in existence. There was Czech teams and Polish teams. People came from what was Rhodesia, America, Australia, Sweden. There was an Italian team, and I've noticed there's still a lot of international scootering federations, places like America, several in America, Germany. So I think there's such a big interest in scootering and scooter racing at the moment that there'll be very wide appeal. And also a lot of people came to on holidays to the Isle of Man, especially in the 1950s and 60s. It was a big venue, big bands used to travel over, and a lot of people that come to the museum library are basically retracking their steps, and they may have got married on the Isle of Man or had a holiday, and they ask if certain buildings and hotels are still there, and they also mention events that took place and ask if we have any information. And up until now, when they mentioned the Scooter Valley, all there was a box with a few old programmes in. So I think there'll be an appeal for anybody with an interest in Manx culture, and there are Manx associations in Australia and America, particularly in Canada.
After 6 laps, riders are ready for the 30-minute break at Glen Helen. You can almost smell the Irish stew. And as Tom Westfield of the Cherokees comes in, we'll check out of the Manx 400. A brand new event, introduced for 1964, is the evening scramble at Ballacallin. Clerk of the course Malcolm Black and Association Secretary Pat Callin are there early to meet competitors. And here are some of the Czechoslovakian team. The all-comers event is first in the programme, in which 20 machines, most of them standard models, are taking part. Timor number 58 and R. Jackson 138 have everything under control in the first of the 9 laps, but Mr. Underwood's roomie has already given out. The Manettes and Jawas of the Czech team go through, and the girls too have a go. Here's Miss Anstey's Vespa. Brennan's Lambretta is chased through the mud by 2 more of the Czech team. Only 3 machines are in the over 150cc race. Polish-born Elizabeth Smolan puts her Vespa GS through its paces. After her disappointment in the Manx 400, everyone is glad to see her take 2nd place in 2 of the races. The first of the 2 field events is held on Monday in Douglas, again a new venture for 1964. After the concours d'elegance, the field is cleared for the grass racing. Like the scramble, this event is separately judged, and results don't count in deciding major awards, but quite a few of those machines have seen that ramp before this week, at the start of the Manx 400. But they might just as well have left the centre out today. On Wednesday, we're at Oncombe Stadium for the Gymkhana events. Seems to be doing all right in the obstacle race, but it's the passenger who does all the work. first obstacle's an easy one, I think. But where's 84 got to? Ah well, we can't all win. In the slow race, if you put your foot down, you're out. But the organisers put a plank down, just to make it fun for the spectators too. You'll need a bathing costume for this. It's a musical ride, and when the music stops, it's a free-for-all in the tub. But these two prefer the real thing.
Firstly, I also have a passion for classic cars, and I have a number of books connected to Triumph sports cars, and particularly TR7s, and realised that I already had a lot of books, and this one in particular, this is just like reading my own teenage years, and I actually know or recognise some of the people in this book. So having seen how well this book came out, I thought the Isle of Man Scooter Rally book would complement this. I wanted to have a local perspective, and I've used Mag's press coverage wherever possible. There's a guy, Les Moore, who's one of the Flying Moors, Norman, Terry and Les. None of them were related, but they all raced for the Isle of Man Scooter Club. Les has been invaluable in helping me make sure that the book is historically correct, identifying images and providing images. And it wouldn't have been possible to do the whole event without Norrie Kerr, because he has provided all the rally reports for the 1970s and has been a real help identifying people in photographs, because there's so many images in the book, and there's a small selection I've added without dates because of their historical interest, but the vast majority of images have all got names and dates on them, and without the help of people like Les and Norrie, I wouldn't have been able to be so accurate with the images and to put them in the context of the book. So thanks to them and everybody else that contributed.
On Friday comes the event of the week, the Druidale, run on a partly closed mountain circuit. Clerk of the course Stan Wardell will tell you it's not a race, but go flat out anyway. Machines are specially checked, as this course is a test of riding skill and machine performance. John Alexander is away on the first of the 3 laps. Just behind comes Clive Weavers with his Model D Lambretta. We're still at the start to see Clive Weavers approaching the Brandywell hairpin at the end of his first lap. The event is timed to the second, and Association Secretary Pat Kellin records completed laps at the end of the closed section. At the water splash, Terry Coleman goes through and makes for Brandywell on his LI. But D. Enfield's Vespa seemed to have taken some of the water with it. Here's Irishman O.J. Newman on his Heinkel. Another of the Heinkel team easily negotiate the S-bends, and it's their first Manx rally. The organisers are in touch by radio and probably know where everyone is, including G. Burnhill, whose sidecar outfit, the only one running today, completes the field. So whatever your tastes, scrambling, grass racing, field events, or just riding, it's all here, so why not make a date now for the next Manx Scooter Rally?